you're probably the most underrated. I would say that you and Cyrock are some of the most underrated artists.
Thank you.
But it's ridiculous. Like like honestly, I was embarrassed to perform after to perform after
Nah,
you. But
man.
the world is the world.
Alhamdulillah.
Um,
Nah, man.
but I think the thing that, and I know this is not the case for your fans,
Hmm.
but the thing that I think that the world of hip hop has yet to fully understand is just how vulnerable you are in these records,
Mm.
man. Like your level of the generosity that you have in giving from your spirit, as a man, as an artist, for somebody who in one moment is larger than life, to give as much as you do and to be as vulnerable and as human as you are in your records. How did you develop that specific element?
Mm.
Because that's not a very common thing in music in general, but particularly in hip hop. And there's not a lot of like there's not a lot of people that can battle Mr. Fab and then also pour their like tell their secrets on a record. Like, how did you develop that particular
Oh
skill?
yeah, man. Yeah, shout out to Mr. Fad. That's my brother. I think that just comes with maturity. You know, I wasn't necessarily like that. When I first was starting off, but I think just as you go, as you get older, as you mature, hopefully you gain some wisdom. Um, and it's like I just, I just always love records. Like I love the rap stuff. I love being able to just dismantle and do things lyrically and play with words. Like I love that. But my favorite type of records, or the records that mean the most to me, are when there are records that you can just relate to on a personal level. So that I always like identify, like, and if you could do it in a lyrical dope way too. You know.
It's just such a generous expression of love, and of real faith. Like people talk about courage, and it is courage, but it's a courage that's born out of, it's so obviously a desire to give from yourself, and to make yourself be that vulnerable, and to reveal that much of yourself to a world that, like this is on the Ali record, which, like, thank you for naming it after me. I appreciate that. But but I mean, like, this is on a record where, like, obviously you've been making this music. Obviously, outside of our
Mhm.
cohort of people that follow incredible lyricism, the world is not giving you what you deserve, and you still dig deep in that way to give, like, after in
Thank you.
creating all of these incredible records, to give that to the people who hear it and maybe have these experiences that they haven't even allowed themselves. You talk in the record about, like, the fact that,
Mhm.
like, I forgot these things happened in my life. That, like, you're walking around with these realities and you forget that they're even there, and they're like they exist as these, like,
Mhm.
sensations somewhere deep in the memory, that when you start examining, like, where is this, this difficulty committing to women, and, like, is there something with my sexuality? I mean, you are ripping your heart open and displaying it all. And it really is very, very obvious that you're giving this to people who aren't
Mhm.
at the place that you are with it yet, who haven't experienced that level of acceptance and healing. And, I work with men that have
Mhm.
been through this, and my wife is a therapist, and, what that does, and all of the things that you describe, it's like, this is what men go through. This is what men experience on into life until the moment that they're able to really sit with what is. You know what I mean? And for most people, like I said, part of the reason why people need each other so much is, like, that ability to give each other permission to be like, yo, it's okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these things happen, and it's not a reflection on you. This is an experience that you had, and also to give just to give that modeling that healing is possible.
Mhm.
Like, not only is there nothing wrong with you that this happened to you, but, like, you can actually hear from another man that
Mhm.
you're somebody we already look up to,
Mm.
that, like, it's possible to heal. And so just, man, your the generosity of spirit and of heart and conviction for you to give that to the world. And